The newspaper headline made me smile. Harrison Industries stock plummets 40% after failed product launch. I set my coffee down and leaned back in my office chair, savoring the moment. 5 years ago, my uncle had thrown me out of that company, calling me weak. Now, as CEO of their biggest rival, I was about to show him exactly what weakness looked like. My name is Emma Crawford, though I was born Emma Harrison. The Harrison name used to mean something in the tech industry. 3 generations of innovation and success. My grandfather built the company from nothing, my father expanded it, and my uncle Marcus, well, he was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating the wrong person. I still remember that day perfectly. The Harrison Industries boardroom, all mahogany and leather, reeking of old money and male privilege. I had just presented my proposal for the company's future. A complete digital transformation that would have revolutionized our manufacturing process. "This is ridiculous," Uncle Marcus had declared, tossing my carefully prepared report aside. "Cloud-based manufacturing? AI-driven supply chains? This isn't some Silicon Valley startup, Emma. We're Harrison Industries. We do things the traditional way." I stood my ground despite the dismissive looks from the other board members. The traditional way is becoming obsolete. Our competitors are already adopting these technologies. If we don't adapt. Enough. Uncle Marcus's face had turned red. "This is exactly why women shouldn't be in charge of real business decisions. You're too emotional, too weak to understand how this industry works." My father, who had been quietly watching from his chair, said nothing. His silence hurt more than Uncle Marcus's words. After my mother died, he had retreated into himself, gradually surrendering control to his younger brother. Now he sat there letting Marcus destroy everything our family had built. "I'm not weak," I said quietly. "I'm trying to save this company." Uncle Marcus stood up, his imposing figure casting a shadow across the table. "Save it? You'd destroy everything your grandfather built with these modern nonsense ideas. Oh, Emma. It's time you understood your place. You're fired." The boardroom fell silent. Even my father looked up, finally showing a flicker of concern. "Marcus, perhaps." "No, David. Your daughter needs to learn that the Harrison name doesn't guarantee her a position here. Clear out your office, Emma. Security will escort you out." I didn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me cry. I held my head high as I packed my things, ignored the pitying looks from employees who had known me since childhood, and walked out of Harrison Industries for what I thought was the last time. That night, sitting in my apartment surrounded by cardboard boxes of family photos and company documents, I made a decision. If Harrison Industries wouldn't embrace the future, I would build it myself. I started small, using my savings and a few loyal investors who believed in my vision. Crawford Technologies began in a tiny office above a coffee shop, with just 3 employees and a dream. We focused on exactly what Harrison Industries refused to consider: digital transformation in manufacturing. The first year was brutal. Uncle Marcus used his influence to discourage potential clients and investors. Suppliers mysteriously backed out of contracts at the last minute. But what he didn't understand was that each obstacle only made me more determined. I worked 18-hour days, sacrificed my personal life, and poured everything I had into the company. Slowly things began to change. Our first major client, a mid-sized electronics manufacturer, reported a 40% increase in efficiency after implementing our systems. Word spread. By the 3rd year, Crawford Technologies had become a respected name in the industry. Our cloud-based manufacturing platform was revolutionizing how companies operated. Every success felt like a personal victory over Uncle Marcus's outdated thinking. My father tried to reach out several times, leaving voicemails that grew increasingly concerned as Harrison Industries' market share began to slip. "Emma, please call me. Your uncle, he's worried about some of our recent losses." I never called back. Instead, I channeled every bitter memory, every dismissive comment, every patronizing smile into building something better than Harrison Industries could ever be. Then came the opportunity I'd been waiting for. Harrison Industries' biggest client, Global Electronics, was unhappy with their outdated systems and looking for alternatives. I spent weeks preparing the perfect pitch, knowing this could be the moment that changed everything. The meeting was scheduled for tomorrow morning. Global Electronics CEO would be there, along with their entire executive team. If we won their contract, it would devastate Harrison Industries. and validate everything Uncle Marcus had dismissed as modern nonsense. My phone buzzed with a text from my assistant. "Your uncle is trying to schedule an urgent meeting. Says it's about family matters." I smiled, thinking about the market analysis on my desk showing Harrison Industries' rapidly declining profits. "Tell him I'm busy," I replied. "Family matters will have to wait." Later that evening, as I reviewed the final details for tomorrow's presentation, another text came through. This one from my cousin Peter, Uncle Marcus's son. "Dad's freaking out. He knows you're meeting with Global Electronics. Says you're trying to destroy the family legacy." I set my phone aside without responding. Uncle Marcus had never understood that legacy isn't about preserving the past. It's about building the future. Tomorrow he would learn that lesson the hard way. As I packed up my office for the night, I paused at the window overlooking the city. In the distance, I could see the Harrison Industries building, its logo illuminated against the dark sky. Soon that logo would mean something very different in the industry. A cautionary tale about the danger of underestimating the weak woman in the boardroom. My assistant knocked softly. "Emma? Final reports just came in. Harrison Industries' quality control issues are worse than we thought. Their last 3 shipments to Global Electronics were rejected." "Perfect timing," I murmured. "Send me the details. Tomorrow's meeting just got even more interesting." As I drove home, I thought about how different things might have been if Uncle Marcus had listened to my proposals 5 years ago. Harrison Industries could have led the digital transformation instead of falling victim to it. But his arrogance, his inability to see past tradition and gender bias, had sealed the company's fate. Tomorrow I would walk into that meeting room not as Emma Harrison, the weak niece who needed to learn her place, but as Emma Crawford, CEO of the most innovative manufacturing technology company in the industry. And I would show Uncle Marcus exactly what weakness looks like when it comes back to destroy everything he held dear. The next morning, I arrived at Crawford Technologies headquarters at precisely 7 a.m. The presentation room was already prepared, sleek, modern, and nothing like Harrison Industries' stuffy old boardroom. Our latest prototypes were displayed alongside real-time data showing the efficiency gains our clients had achieved. "Global Electronics team is in the lobby," my assistant Lisa announced. "And, your uncle is here too." I raised an eyebrow. "Uninvited, I assume?" "He's demanding to speak with you before the meeting. Says it's about protecting the family name." I straightened my blazer, checking my reflection in the window. No longer the timid niece in modest business attire. Today I wore a tailored Armani suit that cost more than my first month's rent at that tiny office above the coffee shop. "Send him in," I said. "Let's hear what he has to say." Uncle Marcus burst into my office like a storm cloud in an expensive suit. 5 years had aged him. His hair was grayer, his face more lined, but his eyes still blazed with the same arrogant authority. "You can't do this, Emma," he declared without preamble. "Global Electronics has been with Harrison Industries for 30 years. Their family." I sat down at my desk, gesturing to the chair across from me. He remained standing. "Family." I smiled. "Interesting choice of words, Uncle Marcus. Please remind me again about the importance of family." His face reddened. "This isn't about what happened 5 years ago. This is about preserving your grandfather's legacy." "No," I corrected him. "This is about business. Global Electronics needs a modern solution to remain competitive. Harrison Industries can't provide that. Crawford Technologies can." "We can adapt," he insisted. "Give us time to." "Time?" I laughed. "Like the time you gave me when I proposed these exact changes 5 years ago? When you called me weak and had security escort me out?" Before he could respond, Lisa appeared in the doorway. "Miss Crawford? Global Electronics is ready for you." I stood up. "Excuse me, Uncle Marcus. I have a meeting to attend. Feel free to stay and watch. You might learn something about the future of manufacturing." The presentation room fell silent as I walked in. James Chin, CEO of Global Electronics, sat at the head of the table with his executive team. Uncle Marcus slipped in behind me, taking a seat in the back corner. "Thank you all for coming," I began, activating our holographic display system. The room filled with 3-dimensional representations of our manufacturing process. "What you're about to see isn't just an upgrade to your current systems. It's a complete transformation of how manufacturing can work. For the next hour, I demonstrated everything Crawford Technologies had developed. Real-time supply chain optimization, predictive maintenance algorithms, cloud-based quality control that could spot defects before they became expensive recalls. Everything Harrison Industries had dismissed as modern nonsense. James Chin leaned forward, clearly engaged. Impressive, Ms. Crawford. But implementation across our entire operation would be complex. Which is why we've already mapped out a transition plan specific to global electronics. I pulled up detailed timelines and cost projections. We can have you fully operational within 6 months, with minimal disruption to current production. 6 months. Uncle Marcus interrupted from the back. That's impossible. These systems take years to implement properly. I didn't even turn around. With traditional methods, yes. But our AI-driven integration protocols have revolutionized the process. Would you like to see the data from our last 5 major implementations? The next 2 hours were a detailed deep dive into technical specifications, cost analyses and performance metrics. By the end, even Uncle Marcus had fallen silent. James Chin stood up, extending his hand. Miss Crawford, I think we've seen enough. Global Electronics would be honored to partner with Crawford Technologies. When can we begin? I shook his hand, feeling Uncle Marcus's glare burning into my back. We can start immediately. My team will have the contracts ready this afternoon. After the Global Electronics team left, Uncle Marcus remained in his chair, looking deflated. You've destroyed us, he said quietly. Without Global Electronics, Harrison Industries will lose 40% of its revenue. No, Uncle Marcus. You destroyed Harrison Industries when you refused to acknowledge that the industry was changing. I sat down across from him. I tried to warn you 5 years ago. You chose not to listen. Because that's not how we do things, he exploded, standing up. Your grandfather built this company on personal relationships, on handshake deals and trust. And now it's dying because of that outdated thinking, I replied calmly. The world changed, Uncle Marcus. You just couldn't see it because you were too busy protecting your idea of tradition to notice the future passing you by. He slumped back into his chair, suddenly looking every bit his 65 years. What do you want, Emma? Money? A position on Harrison's board? Name your price to leave Global Electronics alone. I stood up, walking to the window where I could see both our building and Harrison Industries in the distance. I want you to understand something, Uncle Marcus. This isn't about money or revenge. This is about proving that being a woman with modern ideas doesn't make me weak. It makes me exactly what this industry needs. And destroying your family's company proves that? You stopped being my family the day you chose arrogance over innovation. I turned back to him. Harrison Industries isn't failing because of me. It's failing because you were too proud to admit that your niece might understand business better than you do. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. The Global Electronics contract made headlines in every industry publication. Harrison Industries' stock continued to plummet as other major clients began exploring alternatives. Uncle Marcus announced his early retirement, though everyone knew he was forced out by the board. My father finally worked up the courage to visit me. He stood awkwardly in my office, looking around at the modern decor and advanced technology displays. Your grandfather would have loved this, he said quietly. He always said the future belongs to those brave enough to embrace it. Funny how Uncle Marcus never mentioned that part of grandfather's wisdom. He sighed, running a hand through his gray hair. I should have stood up for you that day. I was weak. No, Dad. You were scared. There's a difference. I gestured to the chair across from my desk. Harrison Industries doesn't have to die, you know. It just needs to change. What are you suggesting? I pulled out a folder I'd been preparing for weeks. A merger. Crawford Technologies' innovation combined with Harrison Industries' manufacturing capacity. We could build something greater than either company could achieve alone. He leafed through the proposal, his eyes widening at the projections. This could work. But the board. The board knows Harrison Industries is 6 months from bankruptcy without a major change. They'll approve it. I smiled. Besides, I own enough of your stock now to make it happen anyway. 2 months later, I stood in the old Harrison Industries boardroom, now modernized with the latest technology, addressing the combined employees of both companies. Uncle Marcus was notably absent, But my father stood beside me, looking proud for the first time in years. "Today we're not just merging two companies," I announced. "We're bridging the gap between tradition and innovation. Harrison Crawford Technologies will honor the legacy of the past while embracing the possibilities of the future." As I looked out over the crowd, I caught sight of my old office, the one I'd been escorted from 5 years ago. The memory no longer stung. Instead, it reminded me that sometimes being underestimated is the greatest advantage you can have. Later that evening, I received an unexpected package. Inside was my grandfather's old pocket watch and a note in Uncle Marcus's handwriting. "You weren't weak. You were right. I was too blind to see it." I placed the watch on my desk next to my latest innovation awards. It seemed fitting, a piece of the past sitting comfortably beside symbols of the future. Success, I had learned, isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. The next morning, I walked into our newly renovated headquarters. Employees from both companies worked side by side, the old guard learning from the new, tradition and innovation finally finding common ground. On my desk, the morning's financial reports showed our stock price hitting an all-time high. "Miss Crawford." Lisa appeared in my doorway. "Your father's here for the strategy meeting. And Global Electronics is interested in expanding our partnership to their international divisions." I smiled, picking up my grandfather's watch. The inscription inside had faded over the years, but the words were still legible. "The future belongs to those brave enough to embrace it." Uncle Marcus had called me weak because I wanted to change things. He never understood that real weakness is fearing change so much that you destroy everything trying to prevent it. Now, as CEO of the largest manufacturing technology company in the industry, I had proven that embracing the future isn't weakness. It's the ultimate strength. Sometimes being banned from the family business is the best thing that can happen to you. It forces you to build something of your own, something unconstrained by outdated thinking and ancient prejudices. In the end, I didn't just become their biggest competitor. I became their salvation. And that, Uncle Marcus, is what real strength looks like.